Hello guys and girls, today we are looking at compound interest tables. Okay, so this is just to give you a little bit of an intuition of what a compound interest table is and how to use it. Okay, so here in the middle, in the grey box, you've got a compound interest table. And essentially what bankers and very smart people like that realised is that instead of doing these calculations every single time they worked out compound interest, which became a bit boring and tedious, what one person did is just sat down and did all of them and wrote their answers out in the table you've got there. Okay, so they worked it all out and you can imagine what a fun job that was, working out 1% for 1 year, 1%, 2% for 1 year, 3% for 1 year, and so on. But that led to this table. Okay, now some key facts about the table. When you're looking for your interest rate per period, this is what you're doing. You're looking across. And when you're looking for periods, you're looking down. Okay, and notice that this is not years. This is the number of times, the number of periods you calculate your interest. Okay, and that'll become apparent as we do a few of the questions. So, firstly, you've got $8,000 invested for 8 years at 6% per annum. So the key things we need to know are the $8,000, the 8 years, and the 6% compounded annually. Annually here, and I'm going to highlight that word again because it's really important, annually means every year. So 8 years, we're compounding 8 times. Okay, and that'll become really important. So, my first step is to look up my interest rate. I'm going to look up my interest rate in the table with these things, the 8 years annually and the 6%. And then I'm going to times my answer that I find in the table by the 8,000, how much I borrow. Because this gives me per $1 amount, so I times it by 8,000 to get the 8,000 amount. Okay? So, let's get started. Okay. First job, 8 years, that means 8 periods. And 6% per period. So I've gone down to 8 and across to 2, 4, 5, 6. And the number that I'm looking at is, use a different colour, this one in the, what do we call that? Aqua. Okay, that's the amount I'm looking for. Okay, so all of this information, the 8 years, the 6% per year compounded annually, means you're paying 1.5938 in interest for borrowing the $8,000 amount. So what I do is I get out my trusty calculator. Oh, you get to see what's in the news today as well. Here's my trusty calculator, and I go the 8,000 from the question. So I should write this down. $8,000 from the question times 1.5938. 1.5938, and that equals 8,000 times 1.5938, the number from the table, and that gives me $12,750 and 40 cents. Okay, and then that one's done. I'll do the second one just because it changes the pattern just a little bit. Okay, so I'll rub all this highlighting stuff out because that goes to the previous question, and we'll start again. Okay, here I'm investing $20,000. Okay, so I'm going to save that number for the end because that was the last thing I did. I didn't use the table to work out the $20,000. I just times my answer from the table from 20,000. So it's important, but I'm going to save it for later. 1 year at 10% per annum, compounded quarterly. Okay, so this doesn't give me a straight out period. Okay, it's 1 year, but it's compounded quarterly. So how many periods of time is quarterly for 1 year? Well, if I think back, there's 4 quarters in a year. I've got 1 year. So there's going to be 4 periods. I'm just going to write down P for periods. 4 periods of time. Okay? Now it's 10% over the year, and that's divided into 4 periods, so I need to do 10 divided by 4 equals 2.5, and you can check that on your calculator. 10 divided by 4 equals 2.5. Okay, so that's going to be my interest rate per period. Okay, that's my interest rate per period, that 2.5. Okay, so 2.5 is this one. I go down to 4, that's my number of periods, and I end up with the number 1.1038. Okay, so now I start the business. 20,000. I said it would be important, and now it is. Okay, I times that by the interest rate period, and the number of periods from my table gave me this number here, 1.1038. Okay, and then I do that on my calculator. Clear him. 20,000 by 1.1038, that's from the table, gives me 22,076. 22,000. Oh, sorry, too many zeros. 22,076. Okay, just check there was no zeros. Nope. Okay. Too many equal signs. And that's done. Okay. That is how you calculate compound interest from tables. The key thing is that this table just comes from people working out all these answers and writing them down to make the job easier for you. They've done all the calculations using that compound interest formula for this number of periods and all of these percents. So the interest charge bit, this bit here, they've worked out for you. You're just reading off the table. And you take this bit that you read off the table, you times it by the principal, how much you borrowed, and that gives you your answer. Okay? Later, guys.